The following is a presentation of TFNN. Live at TFNN, the Power Trading Hour, with your host, David White. Now, the author of The Path of Least Resistance and the Tech Insider, David White.
Good afternoon. It is Wednesday, September the 26th, 2012. Another gorgeous day at the headquarters of Technical Trading and Investing, TFNN.com. We're having a wonderful day here. Unfortunately, we had a little small issue. That song right before we started the show, I'm never going to get it out of my head now. It's repetitive. Oh, God, we've got to get these guys on the ball. That was, I tell you what, I've heard a lot of bad songs, but that one just made me want to jump out the sixth floor window out here. It was horrible. Now we're going to have to go on from that. I'll have to leave that behind. I can't get all wrapped up into that song, although it's like a drill in my head right now. Anyway, it is a beautiful day down here, so I'm going to go on and leave it behind. I'm not going to dwell on it anymore. Jonathan Chapman was born today in 1774. You probably know him a little bit better as Johnny Appleseed. He ran around pretty much Pennsylvania, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois. Became an American legend. Went around, planted a bunch of apple trees from seeds. Apple trees from seeds don't tend to give very sweet apples, and most of them were used for hard apple cider and some other things. But he would basically build these little apple areas up and leave them for the locals to farm. And he'd come back every once, 1 or 2 years, wandering around, and they'd give him a little bit of cut for setting this all up and getting them their apples. That's how he made his money. But kind of one of the early environmentalists, and somewhat credited in saying an apple a day will keep the doctor away, but mostly because they made hard apple cider out of it. And of course, when you're drunk, you don't think about calling a doctor. Anyway, Johnny Apple. I never really thought that it was that long ago, 1774. Kind of think of him as kind of a Civil War kind of guy, but yeah, it's almost the Revolutionary War kind of guy. Born what, two years before it started. The drawings of him, I found several. The guy looked a little bit goofy. Of course, so did Abraham Lincoln, but he was kind of a strange-looking dude and kind of looked homeless. But I don't know. Maybe those aren't real pictures of him. We have Mr. Chambers from Cisco, who's been, he's kind of like one of those Georgia, Alabama ticks. You just can't get off of you. This guy's been stuck in Cisco, running it pretty much sideways or into the ground for the last 10 years. Should have been gone a long time ago. Always famous, Cisco already famous for political infighting, turf wars, and stupid ideas. If Cisco actually might even do something one day if Chambers actually left. But instead of like announcing who's going to replace him in 2 to 4 years, he basically informed 10 of the people that they're up for the job. So now these people are all going to be over killing themselves. I don't know. I don't know. If I was thinking about the worst CEO of a company that actually still made money, I would think of Cisco. This guy's repeatedly just been a horrible, horrible individual, sucking a company dry over the last 10 years. I'm just surprised they haven't thrown him out a long time ago. Maybe we'll get lucky and he'll catch a cold or something and they'll force him out early. Intel's CEO, Paul Otellini, I don't know how his last name's pronounced. He's been over in Taiwan, running around Asia, saying that Windows 8 is being released before it's ready. And when he's talking about Windows 8, there's a tablet version and a desktop version. He is talking about the tablet version. And why would somebody of Intel's stature that's so firmly linked to the products that that Microsoft makes, why would he act like a feminine product? and run around saying those kind of things, guess what? Most of those tablets are going to have ARM processors. He's probably more than willing to throw a little bit of cold water on it. I think it's rather stupid in his part, since his biggest partner still is planning on releasing Windows 8 for Intel. But if you hear this, I think of a lot of it's just sour grapes. Intel is in a very bad position, almost the exact same position in 1987-88 that Apple was in. They kept on thinking, Apple kept on thinking that they were going to license their computers, just make the operating system just like Microsoft, and everything would be great. They'd get lots of people building the computers and bring the cost down. The problem was that for the first couple of years, it would have destroyed their margins, and the Wall Street would have just absolutely demolished the stock. So what do you do when the right thing isn't the short-term thing to do because of Wall Street? Well, Steve Jobs wanted to do it, and they threw him out. When you actually look at some of the stuff he did, it may be that he was actually pushing for that was the biggest reason that they pushed him out. There was no way that they were going to stand around and let him hurt the cost or the price of the stock for one darn minute. It just wasn't going to happen. Intel has that same problem. If they get into a turf war with ARM on the low end, those chips by necessity are going to have a much lower margin. They may make the same money, but then everybody will say, "Oh, the margins are going down. Oh, it's all over." And you know, Wall Street pretty stupid sometimes. This is one of those, and even the CEO is acting kind of stupid right now. I don't care how much you know that you're in between a rock and a hard place. You don't go off dissing the company that is probably responsible for making most of your money. I mean, they make just a absolute buttload of money when they sell a Windows server and some kind of Xenon chip. Why would they even start this kind of thing? I think a lot of sour grapes. Maybe, hopefully he was quoted incorrectly, but this story's been retold in several places he's gone. He's said the exact same thing. Basically, Salesforce, CRM, and Amazon both kind of down the last couple of days. IBM is coming from them. Several of IBM's acquisitions over the last few months have all been around cloud computing, and IBM kind of stepped it up in the last couple of days with a war of words, and now we're starting to see a little bit of that. Let's see if CRM was down about 2% this morning. Let me see if I've got it here. 1.6%. We are getting a little bit better. Amazon was off about 1%. So, you know, we still have these kind of wars going on, but IBM is actually starting to push for cloud computing. Some of their acquisitions actually starting to bear fruit right now. I haven't looked at IBM here today and see what they're doing. 204.60, pretty much flat off, 0.3%, no biggie. No big stir. Of course, they made a lot of noise when they decided earlier this year their plan leaked to be successful for the next 10 years, and it basically involved firing everyone, at least in the United States here, and they continue to be pushing very hard to get rid of a lot of overhead in the United States as they want to move most of their employees to somewhere else and try to get rid of as many as they can over here and push their business into Asia where the growth actually is. Skewed polling. There are some really wild polls coming out for the elections this fall. If you have not seen it or seen some of these polls, they're just wacky. If I went and went to the VFW and asked who should be president, I'd probably get an answer that was very skewed to what the election results are going to be, even if they happen today. If I went to the DNC convention and asked who was going to be president, we'd probably get, I would say, 100% of people voting for one candidate. Those kind of polls are basically worthless. Right now we see a lot of polls, and the reason it's important, I think, probably for not only if you're making bets on what the election's going to be, but just understanding how statistics work. You need to really dig into them, and the devil's in the details. the old saying, there's lies, there's damn lies, and there's statistics. Unfortunately, these are just horrible. But if you want to understand how skews work, there's a very good website now, unskewedpolls.com, and it really goes through how a lot of these polls are just, they're not worth the money they're printed on until you go back and figure out what they're doing. If I went to a mall of 16-year-old girls buying clothes and asked them who was supposed to be president, I suspect it would be wildly off of what the election results would be for the entire country, maybe even the county that they're in. You know, you just can't ask all the people that have landlines. I haven't had one for 4 years. Of course, no one's called me. No one's asked me. And so these polls are pretty much worthless at the moment. Oh, my engineer / producer Steve says that he thinks that they'd vote for Justin Bieber. I don't know. Isn't he on the way out? Isn't there somebody new? They always have somebody new. Oh boy. So anyway, take a look at that. Very interesting. But if you want to see what the polls look like unskewed, if you asked 100 Republicans, you probably know what you'd get. If you ask 100 Democrats what you'd get. Now let's go to the proper mix of those in the country and see what you would get. Google Oceans, I think almost a little bit of piling on. Google Maps, of course, works fairly good. They got 7,000 people working on it, 1,000 people on the inside of the company, 6,000 contractors driving those little funny cars around. If you've never seen one, it's got a whole bunch of cameras on the top of them pointed every which way. And every time they move a little bit, GPSs click off about every 15, 30 feet, something like that. Very interesting technology. Of course, if you have a internet wireless modem, they're looking for the IP address and the MAC address. They're recording all the data they can as they move around. And, you know, they've got about 2007, they got about 5-year head start on Apple. And just a little bit of piling on, they decided to go ahead and open Google Ocean View. So you can go from coral reefs from out around Hawaii to all over the place, the Arctic. They've got even moon. I didn't know you could drive around on the moon with Google Moon and Skies, but they've got all kinds of stuff. But Google Oceans, you can actually now wander around some of the great reefs, like the Great Barrier Reef in Australia. They're going to continue to map these oceans. I guess it'd be fun. I don't know what practical use it would be, but it'd be interesting. Kind of interesting, the short interest on home builders. When we come back, we'll talk about that. But we've got one that really people are loading up short on. Kind of interesting, even 2 to 3 to 1 puts. We'll be talking about that in just a second.
What type of investor are you? Conservative, moderate, or aggressive? No matter your investor personality, your overall portfolio should reflect your financial goals, time horizon, and your risk tolerance. Help ensure your portfolio is appropriately invested with an asset allocation plan from Morgan Stanley Smith Barney. Simply picking the right stocks is not enough. Research has shown that choosing the right proportion of stocks, bonds, and cash is essential to the success of your long-term investments. Morgan Stanley Smith Barney believes that a carefully selected portfolio can lower volatility and increase investment return potential. Find out about what asset allocation and a Morgan Stanley Smith Barney financial advisor can do for you. Call Angela O'Brien, First Vice President and Certified Financial Planner of the Clearwater, Florida branch at 727-441-6108 today to discuss your personal financial needs. Asset allocation does not assure a profit or protect against loss in declining financial markets. Investments and services are offered through Morgan Stanley Smith Barney, LLC. Member SIPC.
with the launch of Tiger TV. TFNN has brought our programming to the next level. With Tiger TV, you can gain access to each host's charts and computer screens as they host their daily stock program. Whether it's Tom O'Brien, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Ken Shreve, David White, Larry Pesavento, Victor Jones, or Daryl Martin, you can catch all of our technicians hosting their programs live and archived on Tiger TV for your viewing pleasure 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you haven't checked out Tiger TV, then visit TFNN.com and see what you're missing.
You take a hands-on approach to managing your investment strategy. You're always looking for the next trading opportunity to magnify your perspective. Direction Shares connects sophisticated traders with a powerful array of ETFs from a wide range of asset classes. The markets may go up and down, and you want tools for both sides of the trade. Discover how we can help at DirectionShares.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction Shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors employing dynamic strategies. Investors in the fund should understand the consequences of seeking daily investment results, understand the risk of shorting, and intend to actively monitor and manage their investments. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen, live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den, absolutely free, for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
80% of traders fail because they don't know when to get in or out of a market, and all because no one taught them how to read the signs. You see, the stock market has a universal language called Japanese candlesticks, and each day, the buyers and sellers, the bulls and bears, go to work and build signs. This language has been around for thousands of years, and it's easy to learn. I'm Steve Rhodes, co-host of the Money Masters Show, and I'm a master sign builder. Download my free report, Candlesticks, The Speed of Trust, on the homepage of TFNN.com for one of the best-kept candlestick secrets. I'll also be conducting an online course Friday, October 19th, to teach you the language of the market's sign builders. You'll learn the best entry and exit techniques and strategies that will create extraordinary rewards. The course will be archived so you can review it as many times as you like, because trading or investing without learning this language is like running a red light. It's an accident waiting to happen, and there's no airbags or seatbelts. All the details are on the homepage of TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Goldfields. For more information, just click the Goldfields banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
As we come back, we've got a phone call, so we'll go directly to that phone call. And it's John in Philly. How are you doing today, John?
Hey, David, my tech man, how are you?
Good.
Excellent. Yeah, I heard you commenting to your audience on Google. Had a question for you, if you could, on that one.
Mm-hmm.
David, if you pull up the daily or weekly chart,
mm-hmm.
I wanted to just direct your attention back to the action of the stock thus far this year. I recall back in January, the stock sold off. I think it was a high up near 670. Then it fell $100, and much of that decline came kind of at the same time that earnings for the fourth quarter were released. And I remember back at the time, amidst that stock selling, the commentary amongst the people getting out of the stock was, "Hey, Google, yeah, it's growing, but their cost management is out of control, number one.
Mm-hmm.
And number two, their effectiveness, their revenue per click,
mm-hmm.
Was declining more than the bulls had hoped for."
Mm-hmm.
And so I remember hearing that hubbubaloo at that time. And now, of course, the stock, in the past 3-4 months has, gone up 30, if not 40%. Can you tell me fundamentally what the buyers of the stock are seeing in terms of profit growth potential, and why what was that worry back in January was just a fake out, if you will? I just don't understand it. Was hoping you could help.
Well, I think we can get to it right now fairly quickly, and that is that there was this belief that because they didn't, they couldn't make the tablet work. Everybody was saying that no one wanted to have anything but an iPhone. There was a lot of this crap that was just wishful thinking on Apple bulls. And to tell you the truth, Google isn't really in your face in the way of advertising. When's the last time you saw a Google ad on TV?
Sure.
They just don't. And so, you know, there was this whole idea that, well, Google's going to lose it. They don't have a tablet. Their Android phones are crap. There was this, and, you know, I guess it's called the firehouse mentality. Everybody sits around in the firehouse, and they've done psychological studies of putting in, moving a guy from a firehouse that's all Democrats to one that's all Republicans, and they come back in about 2 or 3 years and find out that his views normally will move toward the group's views.
Sure.
So, you know, there is this problem where everybody just echoes what they believe, and everybody then starts believing it. And unfortunately, New York is probably one of the worst places. So everybody had that idea and meme that Apple was just uncontrollable, and Steve Jobs was there. They never make a mistake. All the products are perfect. Well, we've started seeing from the 4S and some of the other things from Siri that they've been releasing products that haven't been, and everybody's kind of off that Apple just can't lose kind of thing.
I see.
So the part of it was that Apple's just going to destroy them. There's nothing they can do. Everybody started believing it, and I don't think the numbers were all that bad in the past.
Gotcha.
Google has done a fantastic job. Half of all searches, I think 45% of all search data, the actual bytes going across mobile phones, have to do with finding a good restaurant, or finding the restaurant or the movie to go to, or everything else. And Google's got their little greedy mitts in all of that. And so Google Maps is absolutely a huge mover, and that's why Apple has gone to such extreme lengths.
Sure.
They continue to make at least decent money on the web searches and stuff.
Right.
But, you know, it's a maturing business. But where they really started making money is in all this mobile application, especially in Maps. They figured out how to put it together, how to charge people to put go to my restaurant first, or, you know, when you go between Olive Garden and Carrabba's, who's going to pay up to get Carrabba's as the first Italian restaurant? When you do Google Maps, find me a, Italian restaurant.
Right.
So
right.
all that pay to play, which in the old days they called payola,
yep.
to get your stuff played on the air and get your music played,
yep.
Is basically what it's all about. And they have done an excellent job of going out and getting that.
Gotcha.
The other thing is that they're getting better and better. Right now, I think we talked last week about how much Apple makes on sells their phones.
Yes, you answered that question nicely. Thank you.
Okay. And I think I brought it up yesterday that the new improved cost is only like $10 or $15 for the new phone.
Sure.
You want to hang on through the break? Or I'll finish it up. Okay.
Heard Tom O'Brien on the air, and you've seen him on Tiger TV, as well as being featured as a regular CNBC guest and contributor, and now you can have access to his expert trading advice each morning through his daily trading newsletter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, gives traders, investors, and money managers a thorough strategy for trading stocks, options, and indices every market day. Market Insights comes out each market day before 9:30 a.m. and provides traders with Tom's daily commentary, opinion, and specific trade recommendations on the markets. Using advanced Fibonacci methods, volume indicators, Gartley patterns, candlestick charting, gaps, and market timing, Market Insights will give you specific trade recommendations including entry, stop, and exit prices. The summer is over and traders are back. Get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. If you're an investor looking for a great weekly investment newsletter, then now is the perfect time to try out Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks. Every Tuesday, Ken breaks down multiple sectors in his weekly newsletter, Ultimate Growth Stocks, with a full in-depth report including specific trading recommendations within his model portfolio, charts, sector analysis, upcoming economic data, along with intra-week trading updates on newsletter positions whenever the market dictates. Right now, you can receive a full month, that's 30 days, to evaluate Ken's newsletter free of charge to see if it fits your trading plan. At less than $75 per month, Ken provides you with his expert trading advice that can pay for itself in no time. Take advantage of this great offer by signing up for a 30-day free trial to Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks today. Don't let this offer pass you by. Visit the front page of TFNN.com and sign up now. If you're a trader thirsty for knowledge, then we have the perfect event for you. Tom O'Brien will be hosting a live 4-hour dynamic trading strategies workshop on September 29th in the Tampa area. This one-of-a-kind workshop takes place from 8 a.m. till noon and is completely free. We'll even be giving away almost $2,000 in door prizes randomly drawn from those that attend live. Along with diagnostic trading expert Daryl Martin, Tom O'Brien will teach you how to identify and set up your trades using dynamic trading strategies, and Daryl Martin will teach you his diagnostic trading formula, including the strategy, system, and style that gives you an edge in this market. For more information and to reserve your spot today for the September 29th free Dynamic Trading Strategies Workshop in Tampa, please visit the front page of TFNN.com. Don't wait to act as space is limited. Sign up today. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Crocodile Gold. For more information, just click the Crocodile Gold banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And as we come back, volume's okay, 2.4 billion shares. We've got John. We're talking a little bit about Google and how everybody kind of hated them, and now they don't look so bad anymore. I'll bring up a few other things. They got rid of the old CEO, who used to be their CFO. I don't know if you've listened to my tirades on how bad CFOs are in running tech companies.
Are you referring to Schmidt?
Yeah.
Right.
But they're always pretty horrible. If you get the bean counter of the bunch, they're pretty bad. He was also bad as a bean counter. They got rid of a lot of the they got rid of a lot of the bad flaky ideas they had. Now they're pretty much focused on this Google Glasses thing, and at least they're only throwing a very small amount of money on that. There were about 10 other or 15 other projects they killed altogether. Yeah. So I mean, there were a lot of these things that have come back to come back together. When you look at the longer chart, of course, we've gone through this last high. You wanted to see probably somewhere around 8 million shares or more over the last few days. So it's getting a little toppy because we had about 6 million shares. But it's probably going to consolidate out here. I just, they make $35 a phone for their licensing fee. And, of course, Apple makes, $450.
May I dive right in there? Just want to ask about that issue with, as that had been explained to me, or where I had heard, and it sounded like a legitimate explanation, that the Apple patent lawsuit victory over Samsung was targeted at the hardware manufacturer, but frankly was directed at Android and Android platforms. My question was that victory, in your judgment, a threat, as far as Google's Android penetration is concerned?
I think that there's a 99.9% chance that it's overturned. I mean, there's a blizzard of data where they screwed up in the trial.
Thanks for sharing that.
If you go to it's a website called Grok Law.
Yes.
You'll see the stuff, but it's just in fact it's horrific when you look at the proper way that a trial and the instructions to the jury should have been handled.
Sure.
It was done exactly correctly in the Oracle lawsuit that got settled here lately. And then you look at the instructions to the jury from the Oracle lawsuit and then the Apple-Google lawsuit.
Yes.
You go, how nuts is this?
I see.
The jury foreman was in his own lawsuits with patent issues himself. And, it's just ridiculous.
I got you.
The 99.9% chance you get a new trial.
I appreciate you sharing that.
It's going to be 5-10 years down the line. In fact, if you look, I think Micron and what's the other one? The memory manufacturer.
Good question. I know what you're talking about.
Just a couple of days ago, finally settled one. It's been running for 10 years.
Right.
And they just settled it, and no one really won except the attorneys. This is going to be the exact same thing. Of course, Google and Apple and Microsoft have snapped up a lot of patents. They've crossed those together. It's all going to be so muddy that no one's ever going to figure it out, and it'll go away. Apple got a lot of good press off of it, but I think that's it. Nobody's stopped phones or tablets going into any country. They have like in Germany for like 2 days, and then they were coming back in again. So, all that I think is just going to be, it'll be 10 years down the line. No one's going to care when it does get settled.
David, when in the near future does Google come out with whatever they're planning coming from that Motorola acquisition that they did?
I don't think that there's much there. I think they want to continue to. The only reason they bought Motorola was for the patents. They've got enough stuff to stick it to them. Samsung's got enough patents on LTE to stick it to Apple. It's going to be a long and bloody war, and the lawyers will win, and it won't matter a hill of beans before the rest of them. You can't.
I'm just starting to realize 30 years ago I made the absolute wrong career choice. I should have been an attorney specializing in technology.
If you can do that, you've got a long history of litigation to make many sets of braces for your kids.
It
wouldn't be any problem at all because no one ever wins. They finally settle at the end of it. That whole Oracle, was it Sun? Or it wasn't Sun and Oracle. What was the other one that just got settled? Oracle and what was it? Oracle.
Search me.
Yeah, Oracle and IBM or something. Anyway, these things all go down, and by the time it gets done, it's like 200 or 300 million, and it really doesn't matter anything. Most of these lawsuits get settled, and no one actually hears what goes on. And they drag on for 10 years. It's just pretty much it. But what I was going to say is two things in Google's favor is they are finally got enough apps that they're really starting to make money in their app store. And they also are working very hard to figure out a way to get their royalties up per phone.
Right.
So I'm not exactly sure what they're planning to do on that, but I suspect it has a lot to do with making it a lot easier to have their app store and ideas for their app store to make it easier to buy things. Go ahead.
Can I ask you this? If Google stock should happen to fall back in the next, 3 to 6 months, anywhere close to those swing highs of like 670, would your guess be that, depending upon what you see on volume, that'd be an entry point that you'd want to grab on the stock?
A $700 stock that goes to $1,000, so you make 30%. I just think that there are probably a lot of other technology stocks that have a much better return on it.
Gotcha.
I mean, I would have been this. If you want to be talking about buying this thing, the time was 2004 when it IPO'd.
Sure.
I mean, I don't play Apple, I don't play Google, other than the fact that I know that it moves the indexes. And it moves the rest of the market. But,
Sure.
the easy money's gone. I'd much rather look at natural gas or something that everybody hates at the moment.
Yes.
It seems to be the perennial loser. If natural UNG went back up to, like $50 at one time or something?
Correct.
I'd still, I'd much rather be in that, even if it wasn't a technology stock. But there's 3 or 4 technology stocks that are just getting beaten up right now. They could be, could far outperform this in the next 6 months. So to me, it's just a lot of the water's already down the stream on these. But I know a lot of people are interested in investing in them, but go ahead.
Understood.
Okay.
That background is real helpful. You've cleared it up for me as much as I think will ever be the case for me. So thanks a bunch.
Good enough. And we go to Bobby in Greenlee, Colorado.
David, thank you for taking my call. I have a question on Broadcom. Of the relationship, if any, is there with Apple?
There were a couple of components they used, nothing very huge. Big winners on it were Qualcomm and I went through them yesterday. I don't think I have that list in front of me, but if you go to a couple of sites, you can see the teardowns of them. But they don't have a lot of money in it. The people really making the money are the people that made the radio and some of the other technology in it. They have, I think, 1 or 2 chips in it, and it just wasn't that big a deal. So I'm looking at them less. I actually, in fact, hang on a second, because I think I actually have this.
I had another question on another stock, Seagate, and I was playing it.
It's back to your first thing. We'll get to Seagate in just a second.
Okay.
Arms Holding, Avago Technologies, Micron Technologies, Omnivision made the camera. Qualcomm has a lot of the radio parts in it. Skyworks Solution had the antenna mover in it, antenna switch in it, and Triquint Semiconductors. And I think that's like, besides the display, that's like 98% of the parts of the cost of bill of materials. So those companies, if you're watching on Tiger TV, I just went through them so you can see the charts. But, Micron was making the memory, OVTI was making the camera, Qualcomm had a lot of the parts in it, there's a few specialty things. Arms Holding, probably a better proxy, but they kind of have a deal where it doesn't matter how many they make, they're just selling the design. So Arms Holding probably not going to rapidly change as the rest of these other ones do on the amount of units that they sell. All of them look fairly weak, though. I think I said that the last couple of days. None of them made me feel real warm and fuzzy that Apple was breaking through 700 anytime soon and looking really good. And what was the other one? SDX?
Seagate. I played Seagate, the couple of the waves, about a year ago, bought it around 11 something and sold it around $20, and I was happy as a metal lark. But what do you think about Seagate?
I think that I think it's pretty much hit its zenith here. They both Seagate and Western Digital consumed a lot of the other hard drive makers. At the same time, they had that giant flood where everybody built all the hard drives in the exact same spot in Malaysia. In fact, there was one little business park, and that's where margins started rapidly increasing because, of course, if they didn't have a contract with you already, they were able to get prices for a drive up from $50 for a 500 gigabyte drive to $150 at retail stores with that over the last year. Now, some of that margin is stuck, but it's starting to get more, competitive. And in fact, probably the worst part is that these guys are not active in SSDs at all. And I went out and bought one for $100. It's what, 5 times, 6 times faster than a regular one of the Seagate's hard drives. If you need massive amounts of data, it's still a great technology, but the NAND flash memory is just falling through the floor for pricing right now. So
right, yeah.
I just don't see that until these both Seagate and the other guys find out how to make a lot of money in solid state drives. I think we're probably getting close to the zenith, and unless they come up with some kind of new product to make money with, I think these may be the companies in 5 years that are bankrupt.
Really?
Yeah, I think you had that confluence of the storms in Malaysia, and them at both Seagate and Western Digital buying the competitors. I think Seagate bought Toshiba drives, and Western Digital bought another company, and then the lack of hard drives made the margins go up on the 3.5-inch drives. The 2.5-inch drives were not affected, but most of the PCs were at that time I had 3.5-inch drives. Now almost everybody's building 2.5-inch drives. I think 80% of the production is 2.5-inch drives. So I'm thinking that they're awful close to the zenith on here. They may do a little well through Windows 8, but I suspect that a lot more people are going to go, I can buy a fairly inexpensive computer, put a SSD drive in, and the thing's going to run like a Ferrari. And if you just look at like Newegg and Tiger Direct and some of the mail order companies at the SSD pricing, can you have 5 billion songs on it on a hard drive? Yes. To me, it's much better. In fact, I just put a new SSD in my machine over the weekend, and the thing, instead of taking 45 seconds to boot, boots in 9 seconds to the login window for Windows 7. So to me, I could care less. I'll move another drive if I need to store huge amounts of data. But I think everything I have is about 60 gigabytes on my machine and has been for years. So I bought a 120 gig drive, and the thing runs circles around what I had before. So
does this sound stupid, David? But one of the best operating systems I liked was Windows 95.
Yes.
Seriously, I mean, I'm an old schooler, but now I got Windows 7 on my desktop, and on my laptop I got something 2 years ago. But I'm just old. I liked Windows 95 and 98 the best, and then I had Millennium, and I had nothing but problems and everything new with. And all my children are adults, and they have all Apples and Macs, and they love them.
Yeah, it's been for all the yelling and screaming about people buying Macs for PCs.
Right.
They're still under 10% of the market, and they've never broken that. So.
They last forever.
Yeah, well, they do last forever. To me, there's one big thing, and that is if you're just doing word processing, a spreadsheet, and a presentation, Mac's not that bad. If you have a business and you have custom software, it costs you 4-10 times to write the same program than it does for a PC. It's just so easy to write software. In fact, I wrote a routine this morning. It took me about an hour and a half. I'm sure it would have taken me weeks to do it on an Apple. So,
can I ask you another question?
Yeah, we'll be back just after the break. Yeah, on the other side of the break, we'll be back.
All right, thanks, David.
Are you looking for a precision edge in the market? Something that can stack the odds in your favor? Then look into Larry Pesavento's new trading newsletter, Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind. In each weekly issue, Larry explains what's going to happen in the markets based on the pattern he sees developing and gives you actionable trade ideas based on those patterns. Plus, you'll get his detailed analysis on a variety of markets and sectors, including stocks, treasury bonds, the gold market, oil, the dollar, the forex market, and more. And you'll get the Technical Corner segment, which is a short but powerful weekly training session on trading. You'll get access to all the patterns Larry is seeing in the markets, plus the Astro Harmonics and powerful Bradley stock market model that Larry utilizes for less than $5 a day. An extremely potent combination that will give you just the edge you've been looking for. Try patterns, profits, and peace of mind absolutely free for 2 weeks. Go to TFNN.com and click on the free trial link at the top of the page. That's an $85 value, yours free when you register right now. Get Larry's patterns, profits, and peace of mind and get the edge you've been looking for.
In just December of last year, the price of gold was down over 10%. In today's highly volatile gold market, you need someone in your corner that understands the complex relationships that exist within the price of gold, as well as within a variety of gold equities. Whether it's the South African gold miners and knowing how the rand-dollar relationship will affect their bottom line, or understanding how John Paulson's $5 billion trade in the GLD can move the market, Tom O'Brien gives you the direction you need to become a better trader each week in his newsletter, The Gold Report. With over 20 individual equities covered and almost another 20 on the potential watch list each week, in addition to covering the XAU, HUI, GLD, and dollar, The Gold Report is a great source for any trader that is looking to be diversified in today's volatile gold market. For your 30-day free trial to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report, log on to TFNN.com today. Don't miss out on this great offer. Act now. David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Time is the great equalizer of all mankind. Time doesn't care about winners or losers, who succeeds or fails. Time only cares that you played the game. Question: are you playing the money game? Is your money working as hard for you as you are for it? I'm Steve Rhodes, author of Mastering Probability, a daily trading and investment newsletter service, and we're celebrating our 1-year anniversary. In year 1, we generated a 30% profit. Plus, I provided 26 hours of live coaching to my clients. My daily newsletter service is available by 8 a.m. each day and covers the stock, futures, currency, and commodity markets, along with all the current patterns that you can trade. Each newsletter is packed with education, and it's yours for as little as $3 per day. And for the next 30 days, you can try it risk-free. Click on my name, Steve Rhodes, on the homepage of TFNN.com and begin your journey to great wealth today. If you're waiting for a better tomorrow, remember this: today's tomorrow will soon be yesterday, and your clock is ticking. Mastering Probability. Now is your time.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
And as we come back, we've got Bobby on the line.
David, I got another question. For the regular 61-year-old man that's going to buy a laptop, what would you suggest on an HP? I mean, not on an HP, but a PC.
Samsung is making some incredibly great laptops.
Yep,
but
I had one.
But some of their new ones, especially the Ultrabooks, are just killer. Anybody that wants to get some decent reviews of hardware, I would recommend they go to Tom's, TOMS, hardware.com. And I think that they're getting ready to do one. Lenovo has a laptop that's called Carbon or something like that, that's getting a lot of good reviews. Frankly, I do about nothing on laptops. I've got giant monitors. I don't want to. I've been looking at monitors for 30 years, and I'm trying to preserve my eyesight. So I have some giant 37-inch monitors that sit 3-4 feet away, so I don't have to read and use these all the time. So I try not to.
I use two 20-inch monitors on my desktop, but you know what? Believe it or not, I had the best of luck with the Dell.
You know, Dells are just, they buy components from other people and put them together. They're fine computers, but it depends on who they get. They're always going for the lowest price. It's kind of like the Apollo astronauts knowing that they went to the moon on the lowest bidder. And that's
I bought an HP about a year and a half ago, and I wouldn't give you a plug nickel for it.
No, they had a lot of problems and still do. Frankly,
I got constant problems with it.
Yeah, frankly, Toshiba, Samsung, Sony, and Lenovo. But my bet would be on either this right now, the Samsungs or the Lenovo. The Lenovo's the old IBM PC division, and they're doing extremely well and making very fine products. But you know, you got October 26th is coming out. All the new Windows 8 stuff is going to come out. I was talking to Steve Rhodes yesterday about it. You know, if you're going to buy one of these laptops, I'd wait like a week or two, maybe even the day the thing comes out. I think you're going to see a lot of these Windows 7 things discounted. You're going to get some great deals on Windows 7 hardware if you want to get in on the cheap. And then you're going to see what the new Windows 8 hardware is like. But right now, Intel's pulling back. Everybody's, you know, they don't want to have anything on the shelf. They want to be able to launch this thing with Windows 8 hardware. And so right now, I think it's kind of about another 3-4 weeks is going to be the sweet spot of buying these laptops. If you want to get an older one with Windows 7 in it, or if you want to get Windows 8, the new ones will be out. If you buy a Windows 7 laptop, I think for $15, you can send in to Microsoft and get the free get the update for Windows 8. But you know, there's a lot of stuff I think is going to slightly change. But I think there's going to be some great deals on that stuff.
So will I have to buy another set of Office? You know, I bought the Office package. You know,
which Office?
I don't know, the one with the spreadsheets and
yeah, but 2003, 2007, 2011. Which version of it you remember?
I bought the Price 7 Premium or something, you know.
But it'll have a thing like 2003, 2000 Windows Office 2007, Windows Office 2011 or 12, whatever it was.
Yeah, I don't know. I bought it a year and a half ago with 3 of them and 3 licenses for $185. And then,
you know, you can use
a new laptop. I'll have to upgrade, won't I?
Don't know. It depends on what version you get, but you can get the Home and Office if you're just using it at home, and most of those licenses are only like $110.
Yeah, but I get them for 3 computers.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, I want to thank you for the call. We are out of time today. We will see you all tomorrow.
All right. Bye-bye.